Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and click on notifications so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, our OP is selling his Weber grill and ends up dealing with a scammy Choosing Beggar. Let's jump right in. So this story happens back in 2002, before Facebook Marketplace and smartphones. Selling stuff was done on Craigslist and via email. There were tons of time wasters and scammers back then. It might also be a longer one. I had bought a 2-burner Weber grill. I kept this thing on an enclosed porch and covered. I cleaned this thing after each use. I loved this grill. It was the first real big home purchase I did. I bought it for $300. After using it for 3 months, I wanted a bigger and hotter grill. We were hosting a few parties and it was a bit of an inconvenience. I talked my wife into it and she gave me the okay, but first, I had to sell my old grill. Enter Craigslist. I listed it for $250, which I thought was fair. It was only 3 months old and was in mint shape from not being outside, cleaned and covered after each use. The listing explained this and also said the price was firm. Also, no checks, cash only. It needed to be picked up, no delivery. Cash needed to be in my hand before I handed over the grill. The ad got a ton of responses, lots of scammers and low bidders. I took the first 5 that did not argue about the price and went first come, first serve. I emailed them to let them all know and contacted the first buyer. We set a date for pickup. There were some red flags that in hindsight I should have gone to the next buyer. He complained about the distance and gas cost. He asked about getting the cover and grill tools tossed in and hinted that for $250 the grill should be mint, even though the ad had a ton of pictures showing it in mint condition. So the day arrives, we go up to my porch, which was on the 2nd floor of my 2-family home. He started to complain about the condition as soon as he saw it. The grill looked like it came out of the box after assembly. Then he started in on me about tossing in some stuff on my back porch as compensation. At this point I had it. I told him my price was firm and it was for the grill only. He was wasting my time and if he didn't want it, there were 4 other people waiting. He relented and agreed to the price. The haggling threw me off my game and I forgot to ask for the cash. We carried the grill down and brought it over to his truck. I then remembered the cash. I asked for it before we put it on his truck. He told me, let's get it onto the truck and then he would pay me. Right there, I was like, hell no. I knew as soon as it got up there, he was going to lowball me. We went back and forth for over 4 minutes. He insisted he would pay as soon as it was in the truck. He started to get pushy and belligerent. At this point, I told him the deal was off. He told me he was not leaving without the grill, and it was not worth the $250, and I would be lucky to get what he was offering me. I walked into the house and got one of the printed emails from one of the buyers. I called him and asked if he wanted the grill. He said yes, but didn't have a truck. I told him we could drop it off in mine. Meanwhile, the guy in the driveway is yelling up that the price was getting lower for the longer I made him wait. I came down, told him to flip off, that another buyer was coming. This guy happened to live in the same town. He told me I was full of crap and kept badgering me about getting the grill up on the truck. Well, the guy showed up in about 10 minutes. Though it seemed to last forever. He looked at the grill and said, "Deal," and handed over the $250. Just out of spite, I threw in the cover. I did this in front of the original buyer who went from belligerent to apologetic fairly quick. I told the new buyer what was going on and he laughed at the guy, which sent him into a rage. He started screaming about his drive up, compensation, and a bunch of other bull. Me and the new buyer ignored him and loaded the grill onto my truck. I told the first buyer to flip off and leave, or I would call the cops and have him arrested for trespassing. He was yelling and screaming all the way to his truck, calling me just about every name in the book, but eventually he left. When we dropped the grill off at the new buyer's home, his wife loved the grill. She said it was in a wonderful condition and thought it was a great deal. Once I had dropped off the grill, I immediately went out and bought my new Genesis 3 burner, and she's a real beauty. In story number 2, we have a choosing beggar who spills her drink on purpose and wants a free replacement. Hey Reddit, first time posting in this sub, so wish me luck. A few years ago, I was working at a Dunkin' Donuts, which is a coffee shop for those unfamiliar with it, when one of our regular customers came in. The customer, who we will call Karen, is a regular and is always a pain in the butt. The woman is in her late 50s but always demands the senior discount despite the fact you need to be 65 or over to qualify for that. I always give her the discount because it's not worth the fight, and she only saves like 12 cents. This day, the woman walks up to the counter and orders a large iced coffee. This is surprising to me since she always orders the senior discount, small coffee or tea, and a plain donut. I make the order and ring her up. This is when she goes full Karen. That'll be $3.50, or something close to this. What? Pikachu face, that'll be $3.50. No, it's supposed to be $1.89. I'm a senior. That price only applies to senior discounts, a small coffee and a donut. You got a large iced coffee. So I can't charge you for something you didn't order. But I never pay full price. Well, sorry, but we don't do discounts on large iced coffees. Besides, we both know you aren't old enough to qualify for the discount anyways. I'm always polite enough to give it to you anyways, but I can't do it in this case. Fine. I'll pay this time, but I'm never coming here again. She then hands me her credit card. Oh no, how will the franchise ever survive? Thankfully, Karen didn't hear and took her coffee and walked to a table to sit down. I continued working while keeping an eye on Karen. About 15 minutes after ordering, she drank all her coffee. She got up and started walking toward the trash, and I assumed she was throwing out her cup. However, she walked right by the trash cans and went into the bathroom. Side note, she also went into the men's room because the ladies' room was being used. She came out a minute later with her clear iced coffee cup filled with water. She walked to the other end of the restaurant near the exit when she did the last thing I expected. She threw her coffee cup to the ground and let out a little scream. I rolled my eyes and went out back to get a mop and a bucket. While I'm doing this, a customer walks in through the door and falls in the spill. I come out with the mop and Karen is waiting at the counter with her smashed empty coffee cup. Karen looks at me with a big grin. I spilled my coffee, so I'm going to have to ask you to make me another one. Are you joking? What? I saw you throw your cup to the ground, and I know it was full of tap water from the bathroom. At this moment, I noticed the guy on the floor and run over to help him up. I apologized to him and explained to him the situation of her throwing the drink to the ground and how I was out back getting the mop. The guy is pissed, but assures me he's not mad at me, and I was just a kid doing his job. I was in high school at the time. This guy walks up to Karen and rips into her. He calls her every name in the book several times and even points out how she's making my job unnecessarily hard. He flips her the bird and then he leaves. Even after all of that, she still demands that I give her a new coffee or a full refund. It's not my fault. I dropped it accidentally and you have no proof I didn't. If you don't give me a new coffee or a refund, then I'll sue. I point up to the ceilings and point out the 20 high-end security cameras our location had. Actually, I can prove it. You see those security cameras? Their job is to record proof. Do you want me to go out back and check the video? Oh, Even better, how about I call my friend at Channel 4 News and see if he wants the tape? Total BS lie, but she didn't know that. She immediately turns around and runs out the door. I could hear her tires screech in the parking lot as she drove off. Thankfully, that was the last time I ever saw her again, but unfortunately, I still had to deal with people like her every day I worked there. In today's final story, a choosing beggar gets a taste of their own medicine. Jake has an iPhone 8 Plus for sale for $750. Yes, would you like to meet? Hi, would it be possible if I can trade my iPhone 7 Plus with 64 gigabytes with this? It is less than a year old and has no scratches. I was hoping I can get a phone for my mom for her birthday. That is next week. And she is also in the hospital, so she would be so happy to get one. But we come from a low-income family, so I can't buy her one. But I was really hoping if you could do a trade. No, I won't trade my iPhone 8 Plus for your iPhone 7. But hey, I have an iPhone 6 that's in mint condition, just a year old. Do you want to do a trade with that? I'm sorry, but my iPhone has more value than the 6. I'm sorry, but my iPhone has more value than the 7. This has been John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.